Welcome to another cast brought to you by StarCastTV. I am Nyoken, and today we're going to be casting Piano versus Hyuk. And for those of you who do not know who these players are, Piano was a former member of Woongjin Stars. He was on the cusp of making a big name for himself on that team before StarCraft ended up dying out. And one of the things that Piano was known for is he was a very heavy tank player back in those days. He used to go 3 factory tank. But now he's completely changed his style more towards drop play. So it's very interesting how he has evolved over time. Meanwhile, Hyuk, he is a former Zerg player for SK Telecom, and SK Telecom Zergs always had a curse of never doing well in tournaments. But near the end of Broodwar, they really were turning it around. So Hyuk is one of the better members of SK Telecom, at least for the Zerg players. And I did play him on ladder, and this guy is an absolute monster. He plays pretty standard and then explodes in the late game. So if Piano wants to have success versus him, he's going to have to make good use of his dropship play. Now our first map is Ground Zero. We have Hyuk at top right, Piano at bottom left. And we've been seeing more standard play these days, not just always the Goliath build that we saw a few months ago. Meanwhile, Zerg has consistently gone for 2-hatch mutaplay, and we know that players like Soma have kind of reinvented how 2-hatch mutaplay is being played, whether it's an all-in 2-hatch muta, whether it's non-stop mutas but with a third base, whether it's guardians, just a whole lot of variation. Now unfortunately the colors are a bit off. We've got dark blue for the Zerg, kind of hard to see on the map, and shift tabbing just changes everybody to yellow. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to see, but we do have Piano opening for a gas play. Now, for me, this seems a bit unorthodox for Piano. Like I said, he really does like drops. So this could be for some type of vulture type of drop play. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to be Goliath. So we'll have to wait and see what he wants to go for. Meanwhile, Hyuk on the other side of the map, he's just going for the standard 2-hatch as expected. This is about a 2:05 gas timing. So before the spawning pool went down, he went for gas, and that's going to allow him to have a bit more gas, whether he wants to go for speed and lair at the same time, or if he still just wants to go lair first and just bank up an extra bit of gas for himself. And back on the other side of the map, factory timing, pretty standard, completely off of gas. So for me, this is definitely going to be Goliath play already. If you're pulling off of gas, obviously you're not going for any type of gas intensive units in the initial stages of the game. You're not going for Wraith, you're not going to be building a starport. So everything so far looks like a pretty normal Goliath play from him. This could also be some type of bio play after opening with a fast factory. Not sure just yet, but really everything does look very standard for Goliath play. Now Drone gets in here, sees that there's no command center. Command center would have already been down by now, I think about around 250, and unlucky for the Terran, the Drone gets away with 1 health. And Hyuk, even though he didn't get into the main, he saw what he needed to see. He saw the SCV came on the low ground. That means that there's not going to be a starport or any type of 2-fact shenanigans coming in. So he should be pretty content with where he is at this stage of the game. We've got the Sunken coming down. Vulture is really not going to deal much damage. Now, really what we're looking for is how many Vultures does Piano want to build? Because you can build just 1 and get away with it. You can go up into 3. You could go up into, multiple and just run by the Sunken. Now, I am waiting to see where that armory is, because it seems like we should have an armory coming down pretty soon if that's what we want to go for. But I don't see it just yet. There it is. So 410 armory timing. Meanwhile, Spire pretty much goes up at the same time. And we are just waiting to see how all in Hyuk wants to go with this muta play. Is he going to take a third base at mid-right potentially? Is he going to take another main? Since Zergs have been playing more all in on 3-hatch, he doesn't necessarily need to take a third at the bottom right just now. He could be content with taking this base. Back on Piano side of the map, second factory coming down, add-on coming in at a nice time. It's going to line up perfectly with his armory. Now he did need to be very careful to only go for 1 Vulture, 1 Marine. Okay, it looks like he does have a second Vulture, so that's smart, because a Ling Flood would have actually just killed him. I'm very surprised that he actually didn't even build 3. Now he does come in here, sees the hatchery, sees the spire. He knows exactly what the timing is. And back on his side of the map, he needs to get his eBay down. I don't see it anywhere, but if he wants to be able to defend these Mutalisks, about a 520 to 525 eBay needs to be coming down, and that is what we see right there. Now all eyes are on this armory, because if it's weapon, we're going to be going into a long game. And Ground Zero, it's an okay map to try and go for a long game, but if you think about how the map is laid out, we've got gas here. That means you've got to go a pretty far distance to take that base. This base down here is a mineral only, so I'm not going to be surprised if we do have +1 armor coming in and go for a big timing attack. Our first few Goliaths are coming out. First few Mutalisks are also coming out. Actually, the timing of his Goliaths are pretty perfect. The Mutalisks are going to get across the map when he has about 4, and that's going to be enough to scare the Zerg player back. Also, eBay completes just in time. We're going to see multiple turrets come up. Now, Flash talks about how you should really build as few turrets as possible. So maximum, we're probably going to be seeing 6. Here's the first one in the main. Another one going down here, and 2 more at the natural. Mutas come in, get a scout off. Flash likes to build 4, but since it is 2 hatch muta, you know, you do want to be safe, make sure you don't die. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like 6, but after we go past 6, that's going to be a big commitment into the turrets. So it's got to be careful there. Now meanwhile, on Hyuk's side of the map, I am a little surprised that we don't see a drone anywhere. There's no drone. This Vulture has gotten 2 kills, surprisingly, so maybe that was where he got a couple drone kills. But this is Hyuk kind of being all in at this point. He's still building mutas. He's still building lings. And the fact that he's building lings makes me think that he's just going to go for a timing here. Now back on Piano side of the map, we do have +1 weapon coming in. So this is going to be a long drawn out game, assuming that he can survive the all-in from Zerg, which is what Zerg is doing. More lings coming out. So this is an all or nothing for Hyuk. He's got so many lings right here. Looks like he's got upwards of 12 to 16 just sitting here. And one of the downsides of this build for Terran is there's no academy anywhere. We see that it's just now started. So he has no idea this is coming. And now that he's lifted the barracks, he doesn't have any sort of semi-wall here. So he's very exposed. Meanwhile, I'm surprised that we're seeing this, because this is going to be 5 barracks, Goliath, Marine medic timing. This is something that Fantasy used to do, but here come so many lings right before the Marines and barracks are going to actually come out. Here they come. There's just no wall. There's no units. There's only 7 Goliaths, a few in the natural. So many lings here, but that is a lot of turrets, but I don't think it's actually enough. So many Mutalisks, so few. This has got to be it. Piano's just going to die. He just doesn't have any units. He powered too hard, and unknowing to him, Hyuk was all-inning from the get-go. So this is going to be a quick win from Hyuk. And Piano, who I thought would probably deal very well with Hyuk's style, just gets run over using a strategy that really I don't think is kind of his strong point. So we're going to have to wait and see what Piano wants to do in the second game, because this was not going according to plan. And also it hit at a timing where Zerg got to see the actual game plan from Terran, which was a Marine medic switch. So he wins the game and gets to see what Piano was actually up to. So now all of a sudden, Piano can't even use this strategy in the next game. So let's get into game 2. And I really think that Piano needs to go for his more standard play, which is the drops. Because even though he had a great opener, as I said, the drawback of that style is you have no idea what Zerg is doing. He could have been building Hydras the whole time. He could have been all-inning. He could have hidden a drone somewhere out on the map. So Piano's going to be a little bit more careful, and I am surprised that he moved that racks. If he had built a depot in the racks and kept the racks at the entrance, I do think he could have held that, because lings and mutas really don't deal that much damage when lings have to waste a lot of time behind the wall. But anyways, we're into our second map. It is Overwatch. We've got Hyuk at top left. We've got Piano at bottom right. Now this map is one of the few maps that you can actually wall at the natural. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see a similar opening from last game. And it also wouldn't surprise me if we actually see the exact same opening, because with the wall, you can go into that style that Piano was setting for with the delayed Marine medic timing. So I have to wait and see what Piano wants to go for. Because this is such a great wallable map, I personally always go for the wall. I don't necessarily always go for gas and factory, but I always go for that. But as I say that, Piano is just going to build a depot in his main. Now meanwhile, because this is such a great wall, or great map to wall, what is Hyuk going to go for? Is he going to go for some type of overpool build? It would not make much sense if you think you're going to be facing somebody that builds a wall. Is he going to go for 3 hatch? That is a possibility here, because a lot of times Terrans don't even scout very early on this map because they know that most likely Zerg is not going to go for a pool first build. But as I say that, this is a 12 pool. Actually, it is an 11 pool. So kind of an interesting opening from Hyuk. I'm really not a big fan of early pool builds on maps like this. But Piano on the other side of the map is going for 14 command center without scouting. So again, this might just be a very quick game. If this was an overpool, I think that Hyuk just wins. But because it is a 12 pool, I do think that actually Piano can survive here, but he's probably going to take a lot of damage. Another thing with 12 pool or 11 pool in this case is a lot of Zergs don't have any larva banked up. So they end up only being able to build 2 lings at a time. And Terran's not going to be afraid of 2 lings. So hopefully these 2 larvae are all lings and not something weird like 1 drone and 1 ling. Okay, there we go. 4 lings. But like I said, usually you don't have that many lings when you go for an opening like this. We don't have 6. It is just 4. He is banking this larva right now. So he's not even going to be building more than 4 lings, which is one of the reasons I'm not a huge fan of the 12 pool opener. Now, with this, he is just going to go straight into lair. The SCV comes at a time where the lings are going to feel obligated to actually stop the SCV and not run by it. So this SCV might unknowingly, oh wow, actually does just run by it and go for it. I'm so surprised. But there is that wall, as I stated, instantly throwing down the second depot, canceling the SCV on the command center. And now with this wall up, Piano has the dream opener. Sure, he had to spend an extra 100 minerals to get this depot down in time, but he's gonna be able to repair it. 4 lings cannot kill this depot in time. The only chance of it going down is if the SCV goes down at the same time. Yeah, it completes. So now this is a easy hold from Piano. He can do anything he wants. We don't see gas for him, so it's not gonna be a mech opener or a mech transition from it. But back on the other side of the map, the lair is already done. And one of the problems with this build versus an early pool opener is you had to build that extra depot. That means that we had to delay our second racks. We had to delay our gas. We had to delay an academy. And this opener from Hyuk is going to have such fast Mutalisk that we may actually not even have stem. Honestly, we may not even have turrets up in time because he's going to be building a lot of stuff in the next minute or so. The academy, Marines from his barracks. Okay, he's going to have the eBay up, but he may not have turrets up in time is what I'm saying. He's also got to defend this area because Mutas can harass the depot wall. He's got to defend here. He's got to defend here. He's got to defend here. So actually this 14 command center, even though you would think that this is an amazing opener, in this particular game, probably would have been better to just go for low ground depot, racks, and then command center simply because we had to build this depot. But of course, we saw it because we're the observer. Piano doesn't have infinite knowledge like that. Now there is the eBay. Extremely fast eBay. Remember last game we had a 520 eBay. This is something like a 430 eBay. Academy is about to finish. It's about 75% of the way done, but the Spire is so close to being done that there's no way we're going to have stem or anything. And again, Hyuk is pretty committed here. There are 3 drones on the natural, but it's not super good econ. It's decent. He definitely has enough money to go take a 3rd base pretty soon. But I actually think this might just be all in 2-hatch Muta with +1 weapon coming in the next few seconds or so. But as I say that, he is banking some gas, so maybe he is just going to take a 3rd base. Now meanwhile, eBay does complete. We are going to start seeing a spam of turrets. I like this bunker placement because it's going to be able to defend the depots. Also going to be able to give him a little bit of defense on the mineral line here. But you can see how many turrets we have to build. 3 at the nat, right by the barracks, and a couple in the main. So everything is mega delayed actually range coming in first. Now this is very smart because he knows that he's not going to be moving out at any time. Range is more important here because the mutas definitely are going to think, hey, I can kill these depots for free. There's no way the Marines can actually defend this. 4 turrets. Jeez. How many turrets did we build? We actually built 9 turrets just to stop this opener. Now, since Piano hasn't died, and because he has such great saturation at his natural, he actually has tons and tons of money. So he is going to start ballooning in terms of resources pretty soon. +1 armor actually coming in for Hyuk. Now, mutas do come in and get a kill on one of the turrets, but the SCVs are making sure to repair the second one. And I don't like how Hyuk is actually continuing to all in here. I think he could have contemplated taking a third base, and I think that Piano, as long as he just doesn't die, he's going to be very good to go. He's got +1 weapon coming in himself. It's not like we see a hive coming in where we're going to see guardians. It is just, I guess, probably all in armor mutalist. The mutas do get quite a few kills here, but the Marines, despite having no stim, have actually picked off 2 or 3 mutalists, so that's fantastic. But he is losing quite a bit, but with 3 barracks already up, there goes stim. It does kick in, but he's got to be careful not to lose all of his Marines here because he doesn't know what the hatchery count is on the other side of the map for Zerg. The fact that there's no speed should lead him to believe that we're not getting all in with Ling Muta, but he doesn't know how hard we're actually committing to the mutas. We still don't know if... Oh, I guess he did scan. So he sees that there's no hive, no third base anywhere. Now, factory is about 90% of the way done for Piano. So as soon as this factory completes, we just need to get 1 starport, get our science vessel out, and then once the radiate comes in, this muta harassment is going to be completely shut down. We can see that the mutas are getting heavily damaged. So Hyuk, even though he had a good opener, he hasn't done enough damage, and also the mutas are taking way too much damage. He needs to start swapping out units here to try and replenish or replace the weakened mutas with healthy ones. And this depot, it's just not falling. Sure, we're harassing a little bit, but I'm not sure it's worth it. Another mutalist goes down. We don't even have that many mutalists. It's only about 11. So even though the Marine count is extremely low, these 4 turrets remain strong. There's no way that Hyuk can actually bust through. Now the Ling count is starting to get decently. Well, I guess it is only 6, but here he comes. But Marines on the high ground, I think, should be able to clean this up. Also, we forgot about these 4 Marines still in the bunker. But mutas and Lings do get into the main, and there are no turrets on this side. So if Hyuk just sits here, there's not a lot of production. It's only 3 barracks. But look at the muta count just dwindle because they've been consistently punished over and over trying to kill that depot. It's only 5 mutalists remaining, but still, oh, very smart from Piano to build another racks to make sure no lanes can flood out. And now 5 mutalists, they will eventually die to 3 racks Marines. 100%. He's just got to make sure that he can keep these turrets up. As long as the turrets stay up, mutalists cannot reinforce here. Another mutalist is going to go down. It's down to 4. And all Piano has to do is live. That's all he has to do, and he'll be fine. Marines in the bunker. Gonna make sure that no lanes can flood in here. This is a lot of mutalists, but they can't get into the back line. But Piano's getting a bit desperate. We see vultures coming out. That's not something you see often these days. But he's gonna try and go for it on these turrets. It is 11 mutalists. They do have +1 armor, and there's really not a lot of Marines. Is he just gonna overwhelm Piano right here? 3 Marines try and pop out. The mutas are so weak. Another one goes down. Another one goes down. There's 5 still remaining, and all Piano has to do, get these turrets up. But the mutas are dealing a lot of damage, but it's only 4. They can't even one-shot the SCV. A medic round. Look how many turrets there are. 8 turrets. Here he comes. He's going to try and run by this bunker, but the vultures on hold position, able to take out a lot of the lings. And I think Piano has done it. There's just not enough mutalists. It's only 6. They're 2 damaged. We've got the Valkyrie coming out even. GG. So what a hold from Piano. It looked like potentially Hyuk was going to bust through, but a very dangerous situation for Piano. Really, despite going for a 14 command center, didn't really get the super big econ that we were expecting to see from him. But able to hold on, and now our final map is going to be Circuit Breakers. It is 1-1. And this is the map that I played Hyuk on. He played pretty standard. He just took a third base, just sat really on defilers, and then just exploded. So if we're going to see the type of play that Piano is famous for, I think this is the map that we're going to see it on, which is the drops. So we do have Piano at bottom right. We've got Hyuk at top right. Now I wonder if we're going to see another early pool build from Hyuk, because pool first is kind of unorthodox on Overwatch, and you would think that most likely Terran's not going to 14 command center on this map either. So I actually would like to see another pool first opener, because for some reason I'm getting a feeling that Piano's going to 14 command center again. I don't know why. I just have a good feel that that's coming in, or he's going to go for another gas opener. So we'll wait and see. We do have Overlord coming in, so it's not going to be 9 pool. We'll still wait and see if it's going to be an overpool or a 12 pool, or if it's going to be that 12 gas. Now, one of the key points about these two positions is the Mutalisk can instantly fly to your natural, and they can sit over the dead space very easily. You really cannot damage any incoming mutas, whereas if it was horizontal, you could potentially intercept them moving across the map. Okay, where is this SCV going? Okay, so far, looks like nothing unusual. Meanwhile, Hyuk, he is going to go for a 12 hatch this time, so he is just going to play pretty standard. And even though 2 hatch is so popular these days, we have been seeing 3 hatch a little bit more often. Since I came to Korea, I've even seen Hydra Lurker sometimes. Now, I don't think that Hyuk is going to go for that, but it wouldn't surprise me if we do see just a normal 3 hatch play coming in. Ooh, that SCV, I really thought it was going to be for gas, but instead, this is finally going to be the game where Piano just plays normal. Unluckily for him, he is going to be scouted first, unknowingly. And there is the pool, and this is just a standard pool timing from Hyuk. We notice that there is no 205 gas this time, so it's a little different from the Ground Zero game. And now we're approaching the point where if he's going to go 2 hatch, we really need to get our gas down pretty quickly. Otherwise, this is going to be something like a 2.5 hatch build, or potentially a 3rd hatch in the main. Even a drone may just try and hide a base up here, Jaeyoon-esque. Back in Piano's main, he does scout and see what was going on for Zerg, so he is just going to build, well, didn't build any Marines actually. Very risky to not even build any, but he is going to get away with it. He goes for the fastest command center he can possibly get despite this opener. 3rd hatch did go down for Hyuk, so it is a 3 hatch play, something we really don't see that often these days. Now, what does he want to do with it? Because he sees that the command center went up really fast, and if he really knows his timings, he should know that this is a no Marine command center, or at the most a 1 Marine command center. And one of the drawbacks of skipping Marines like this is you've got to get your second barracks up very quickly. This looks like delayed mech. And this is going to be a very, very risky opener from Piano. The reason you don't see it is if they go for lurkers, you don't have any scans. You go into mech play and you're pretty much blind. And when you are blind, oh, actually, is it just going to be standard 5 racks? He does go for the fast eBay, but he had a pretty damn fast gas timing here. So this is going to be a very, very fast +1. But like I said, the Marine count is extremely low. One of the drawbacks of skipping Marines is if Zerg just goes for the standard spawning pool speed timing, which is right now, it's about 50 seconds. You hit it around 450. There it is. So 450, Marine takes about 15 seconds, I think, to build. If we just add 3 Marines to this, it's only 8. And if he does a round of Lings from all of his hatcheries, he can literally just attack move into the Marines and they're going to die because there's just really not critical mass. So he's going to be very careful to not get overrun by Lings. We see that Hyuk is actually not building any Lings. So this game, Piano is actually going to get away with it. Smartly, he puts down a bunker at the exact perfect moment. Like I said, 450 is about the time speed kicks in. So if we look at this, it's going to complete 445-ish. Speed is pretty close to kicking in at around 4. It looks like it's going to be around 5 minutes, but still really good timing to put down this bunker. He does have +1 coming in. We're going to see the barracks flood pretty soon. Stim is already coming in. Everything is lining up amazingly for Piano. But Hyuk didn't build excessive amounts of lings. He doesn't have to worry about having his econ shot and have gone for some type of timing play, which would have done no damage. Now I am a little bit surprised that he does put down a sunken, but because he doesn't know exactly what Piano's doing, this could have been a 2 racks push. So this is somewhat of a smart move to make sure that he doesn't just instantly die to some 2 racks Marine Medic play. Now Piano on the other side of the map, he's got a bunch of barracks coming down. 4th and 5th barracks about to come up. Ooh, he's got to build that. This SCV just does not want to build it. Okay, there it goes. It does come down. Stim is done. Range is going to be coming in pretty soon. And our Spire is about to finish. So we've got Mutalisk coming in pretty soon. But Piano's got a really killer opener. He's got his Comsats coming in. 3rd base coming up at top left for Hyuk. Everything is pretty standard across the board. But we really don't see 5 racks that often these days, simply because 3 hatch is so uncommon. Now one thing that I'm going to keep an eye on as a Terran player is when does he build his factory and does he continue building SCVs. When you're going for 5 racks, you really have to know when to cut SCVs and when to continue building SCVs. Now if we look at his natural, he's got, looks like 13 SCVs here. This is the perfect amount you want at this point in time. So he can cut SCVs. Everything is great for him. 3 turrets going up in the main and in the natural. So 6 turrets in total. And now he's going to get out into the center of the map. Try and keep the Mutalisk back. Because if you can keep the Mutalisk back, you can just get away with murder. You just can just power and power and power and power and power. Now here come those Mutalisks. They are going to try and get a little bit of work done. 1 SCV goes down. Not a huge loss here again because he does have perfect saturation at the natural. But now if we start losing 2, 3 SCVs, that is going to add up. But the Marines have done what they needed to do, which is get across the bridges. It's so hard to get across the bridges on Circuit Breaker. But now that he's made it, I think he's in an okay position. But this is 10 Mutalisks, a lot of lings. It looks like Hyuk actually wants to engage this. Now he does need to keep the other Marines back. If he can keep this isolated, for sure he can kill this group. It's about 1.5 Marine Medic, but I don't really see an overwhelming amount of lings. He's also building sunken, so he's scared to actually get counterattacked. So I'm curious why he has so many lings while also building sunken colonies. But this is a lot of lings on the flank. Uh-oh. Piano is moving out, and this might be go time for Hyuk. He's got so many lings at his natural. In combination with these 12 lings in the back, I think that he will just overrun this ball. But this is +1 Marine Medic, and he has a 3rd group coming out. Now, if this group syncs up, there's no way Hyuk can win. But here we go. He did not expect these lings at all. They are easily going to take down this Marine ball. Luckily, he has that bunker. But the Marines are skirting across the map to top left. And this is going to be an exposed base. But because he can't reinforce his army, I actually think that this should get taken down pretty easily. Hydralisk have started coming up. We've got Hive coming in pretty soon. The Queen's Nest is done. But the Marines have made it all the way across the map. He really needs to desperately pick off this army. Otherwise, top left is going down. But at the same time, Piano's losing a ton of units. And this is so many lings. I think this bunker just dies. Does it just die? There's so many lings here, so many mules. I think you should just go for it. So we're going to have a base trade scenario. Top left is 100% dead. But the natural, this bunker is dead, and he's going to be on the production. And with this amount of lings, 5 racks cannot stop it. Also, he's not even using this top barracks. So Piano, I think he's just on the cusp of losing. There's so many lings still alive. He needs to just get them into the barracks. This is it. Hyuk is going to win here. The Marines are scrambling to get back. But this is honestly not enough. Also, we saw the first 3 Hydras come out somewhere. Are they morphing as lurkers anywhere on the map? I don't see them. But if lurkers get in position, there's no way we can actually hold this. Ling still ransacking the barracks. The Mutaball is getting lower and lower. It's only at 7, and they are pretty weak. But here come those Marines. I don't see a medic anywhere in sight. There they are, trailing way behind. He's stemmed again. They're so isolated. Oh my gosh. Those Marines are so weak, but the Lings, there's only 3 left. So it looks like the Mutas are actually not going to be able to pick off these hurt Marines in the center of the base. And that could have been the saving move for Piano, because really, there was just so much Zerg, and the Marines were so weak that they could have easily been taken down. Now, there are those Hydras, but they're not lurkers yet. Where are those lurkers? I only see 1. Marines are getting picked off in the center of the map, but it's even supply. It's 62 to 62. Also, there is tech for the Terran player. He still doesn't have a starport, but he did survive. And on the other side of the map, the hive has started. So if we see something like Greater Spire here, this could be a game-ending tech switch. Marines are going to try and move out again, pick off one Mutalisk. They are heavily upgraded, +1 already, +1 armor. Should be pretty soon. It's about to finish in the next 10 to 20 seconds. But there are those lurkers that I was waiting for. It's 6 of them. And if he can get a hold position lurker surround here, or, okay, he scanned it. He saw how many links. He needs to back up right now. So many links coming in, but the lurkers aren't with them. He's going to try and get around it anyways. All the Marines are going down in the front, but I'm not sure if this is actually enough to actually plow through the Marines in the back. So many lurkers here. It's 6, but that is still a lot of Marines. And they end up dodging the majority of the spines. The bunker is still here, though. I think that Hyuk might just get surrounded right now. Oh, lurker shot. Not as huge as I thought it would be, but really not a lot of Marines. Bunker does manage to get up, though. But Hyuk is in a killer position, but now his lurkers are isolated. He's going to try and jump on this bunker, but Stim is so good. Also repair, I think this is a huge blunder. And now all of Hyuk's lurkers are going to fall. Maybe Piano trying desperately to clean it up. He does. And I think that this is Piano just barely going to hold by the skin of his teeth. There's really nothing left for Hyuk. GG. So Piano with a really nice hold there. And unfortunately for Hyuk, I thought for sure, once the Lynx and the Mutalisks got on top of the barracks, that he's going to take this game and take this series. But regardless, very close series, very good games. And that is going to be it for today. So make sure you tune in pretty soon. I've got another series coming up. It is going to be Zero, I think, versus Snow. So stay tuned for that.